Hey you, welcome back to the community series. As promised in this video, I want to talk about ideas for solutions for the problems that I talked about in the last video. The feedback wasn't too plentiful in the last video, so I'll just go with my gut and talk about what I've already collected and what else comes to mind. So, about the problem of reaching new players, the only idea I personally have is this channel. I have the school series to learn stuff about WarGears. I have the progression series to show off and use what we learned in school. And then I have the community series that talks about the scene itself. I could maybe also show publics. If you have any other ideas, please tell me. And if you're thinking about making videos, for sure do it. We need you. I generally want to motivate everyone to be a little more active. It feels like the general mindset is that things are very doomed. And with a mindset like that, I feel like hunches tend to turn into self-fulfilling prophecies. Don't be afraid to, for example, be more active in participation in councils. Voice your opinions, try to go for positive change. About the problem of hooking new players, if we do reach new players, right, we need to teach them, we need to provide perspective, motivate them, and so on, so that they actually stay. We have people who work on making stronger publics for intermediate players, but starting out is very difficult. And if a player doesn't become an intermediate player, then having a strong public to learn from doesn't really help them. There are some people who are guides and actively help new players, which is super good and super important, and please support them or maybe become one. Someone also voiced the idea to me that there could be a guide team to accompany players until they can branch off and form their own teams, and that's also a very cool idea. This connects to the thing that is to me most important and I think missing, which is a more obvious guided path. Something akin to, go here first, do this, orient yourself, go through these steps. There are FAQs on WarGear server web pages, and there are some broadcasted messages on the servers directly, but I don't think that's enough. Ultimately, if you arrive without much prior knowledge, I feel like you're very stranded. An idea I had was to maybe have a web page that just lists some principles with neat pictures and maybe proposes tasks to you like some Duolingo course, right? Look at this principle, build a cannon that does thing X, and then over time you get better at building cannons. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. For my final point, I want to talk about WarGear, because I stand by the point that it is important. Because it's a mode with minimal requirements, and in my opinion that tackles the initial hook problem. My secret agenda is sort of to make WarGears feasible for casual play, to regain players that left because WarGears simply got too intense, which already started happening 10 years ago. In my opinion, right now there's no actual casual mode. Of course, depending on your attitude, any mode can be played casually, but that's not reality, really. Even in Mini WarGear and Warship, the quote-unquote lower tiers, building your first WarGear can take a solid while, and then still veterans might just come around and destroy you. To me, WarGear's main selling points are that there are 9 no rules, you don't need to design, and it's automatically examined without the need for an examiner, so you can just get started. Additionally, getting TNT over time instead of all of it all at once in the beginning of the fight makes click speed much less of a factor. And not having tech hider means that rolling up with the strongest tech you have is not very attractive. Currently, there is no bow fighting in the mode because I wanted to have the focus be entirely on WarGears. Because of this, fights currently can end very awkward, especially at lower power when there aren't many flexible cannons. So I'm considering asking for a shot timeout win con, so the intensity is kept up throughout the battle, or maybe a general time limit rule and a damage percent win at the end. This would ensure quick rounds, which makes sense because, it's called WarGear, so maybe it should play quickly as well. We could also combine both maybe, to have a general 5-minute limit and a maximum of 1 minute between each shot to ensure very dynamic fights. A common point I heard about WarGear is that no one plays it, and that makes sense. It's not a mode geared towards veterans, and those are the only people who really play still, right? My idea to increase the popularity of WarGear would be to have weekly community brawl fights without any involvement of the server team. So every week at the same time, people can just show up and we duke it out. We can eventually try to come up with some sort of scoring system, but that's not really the point right now, right? To summarize, my idea of a better path for new players would look like the following. First, you hear about WarGears, maybe from a YouTube video, right? Or maybe a friend. And then you know that every week some super casual event happens, and you decide 1 week to just build something and see what happens. You figure out how to build by either watching YouTube tutorials or looking at a website that lists some principles and maybe gives you some tasks and eases you into understanding how cannons work. What do you think? Do you have any other ideas? Anyways, as per usual, if you want, you can join the WarGears International Discord server, and I'll see you in the next one.